Learning a language in 6 months. You can learn a language in less than 6 months. By learn, I mean speaking fluently to a degree that you are comfortable communicating, which is the reason most people want to learn languages. I know this sounds crazy. I know a lot of people are struggling terribly with languages, and it's because they are doing it the wrong way. They think they can't learn a language on their own, and they rely on teachers. They believe that if they spend enough time in the classroom, they are going to learn it. But languages are learned, they are not taught. That's why it seems very hard, because you can only learn a language on your own. It should be your own learning journey. Look at the schools, look at your own experience. You might have tried to learn a language in high school or in college, right? You take a class for many years, but they fail to teach you a language. This is because, like I said previously, languages can only be learned, not taught. Let me tell you my story. I am a native Turkish speaker, and when I started college, I had been studying English for 5 years. I thought that I was really good at it. I knew all the grammar, I aced my English tests. I also went to private English courses, and I was one of the best students. Then, in college, I met native speakers and I tried to speak to them in English, but I failed. I couldn't hold a conversation for more than 5 minutes with them. I knew a lot, and I could mostly understand them, but I could not speak well. After 5 years of learning English, I could not speak it. I looked around and saw that all of my friends were also struggling with English. It couldn't be only about me. It wasn't just me. Almost everyone was struggling in the same way. I was frustrated and thought a lot about it. I wasn't happy that I spent so much time and money. Then, I began to research language learning and how I could improve. My question was, how can I learn a language successfully and rapidly? Then I came across some people who speak more than 5 languages. They're called polyglots. A polyglot is a person who speaks more than 5 languages, and some even speak more than 10. I was very surprised and impressed. I struggled to learn 1. How can they learn 10? I even saw videos on YouTube in which some polyglots speak in multiple languages. This motivated me to research and learn as much as I could about them. What do they do? How do they learn? What kind of people are they? And how can they do it? And I met some of them in person. Shane McCallum is a professor in my school. He speaks more than 15 languages. He is the person who inspired me to learn languages. He showed me that a person can learn a language in a short time. For the last 5 years, I have been researching these polyglots and language learning experts in so much detail. I have watched their videos, I have asked for their help, I have read everything they wrote. Language learning ended up being my passion. I consumed everything about it that I could get my hands on and learned so much. And the conclusion that I came to after researching them for 5 years was that they are not geniuses. They are normal people like me and you. They work in full-time jobs that are not really even related to languages. Most of them even learn languages in their home country. Most of them also started learning languages as adults. The only thing they have in common is their learning patterns. They all had very similar learning habits and used very similar learning techniques. I tried them out myself. Some of them didn't work right away and others got boring. However, there were some principles and methods that they all had in common that produce incomparable results to traditional language learning. So, applying what I learned from them and building upon what they did, I developed a language learning method. I applied it first with Spanish and then with French. I was able to learn more French in 3 months than I did English after 3 years. I learned more French in 3 months than I did English after 3 years. I went to France after studying French for only 3 months, and people were very surprised at how much I knew. I was able to speak it. I was able to converse with them. Yes, I made a few mistakes, but it was okay. I was still able to communicate with them. They were surprised because they had also been learning English for several years and were not able to speak it. Well, you know, many others have the same story too. So, having this experience, now I want to help others learn languages in a much shorter period of time. I want to end the status quo of language learning, or rather, failure of learning, and introduce this product. Here I will share with you everything these language learning experts do differently than others and why it makes them so successful. I would like to sum it up before proceeding to the course. To learn a language rapidly, you don't need a special language talent. You don't need to be a certain age. You do not need to be in the country of the language that you are learning. You can do it in your own country. And most importantly, you can and you should learn it on your own. It is possible. Look at all those people who did it. As you can tell from my story, I didn't consider myself to be a linguistic genius. I just believed that there must be a way to learn rapidly, and I found it. So anyone can do it. And it doesn't have to be painful or extremely difficult. It can actually be quite fun. I think some polyglots are addicted to this joy of learning languages. That's why they take on so many learning missions, one after the other. Who needs to speak 40 languages? No one. They do it just for the fun of it. It is important that you believe in yourself and that you can learn a language rapidly in your home country and on your own. Don't let languages scare you off. You can do it.